This is not the end. That's what Frontier said in response to comments on their Jurassic World Evolution social media accounts. It's happening, boys. If you're happy and you know it, leave a thumbs up. If you're following Jurassic World Evolution on their social media channels, you will have seen them promoting past DLCs this week, going through them in chronological order. A lot of people were very upset by this, especially in response to the first one, because it had the appearance of them announcing a new DLC, and that wasn't the case, and it rubbed some salt in some very still fresh wounds. But finally, they have given a response to the complaints under these posts, and the news is very, very promising, and I won't keep you any longer. They had posted about Return to Jurassic Park, the last DLC they released, and someone asks point blank, is this the end? To which Frontier replied, this is not the end. We can confirm that the team is hard at work on something down in the labs, and we look forward to sharing more about it later this year. Now, down in the labs gives me traumatic flashbacks to when they were promoting Struggling, that weird co-op game about a monster with 2 heads and 2 arms, but people went crazy thinking it was something for Jurassic World Evolution, you know, that one. But this time, it's definitely different, because when they were promoting Struggling, they did so on their Frontier account. They didn't promote it on the official Jurassic World Evolution account. This time, it is directly linked to Jurassic World Evolution. I don't need to tell you what I think it is, but I will anyway. I think it's a sequel to Jurassic World Evolution. They say they have more to share about it later in the year. Now that can technically be anywhere from tomorrow to December 31st, but I think later in the year probably refers to late summer or fall, and it actually probably refers to August, when Gamescom is being held, and history could repeat itself with an announcement at that convention, just like the original Jurassic World Evolution was announced at Gamescom in 2018. The response they gave is very similar to a response they gave when they were promoting the complete edition on the Nintendo Switch, only then they didn't mention any sort of timeline. The wording otherwise is very similar, which indicates that they were talking about the exact same thing back then as they're talking about now, which indicates that whatever they are working on, they have been working on since at least October of 2020, probably long before then, when they were replying to our despair with promises of more to come that I covered in a video as well. Considering what they are working on will not be announced until later this year, and might/probably will not be released until Dominion releases in 2022, I'm still betting on that, that means that what they are working on, they could have been working on for well over a year and a half, possibly much longer than that, depending on how long they've been working on it before those comments in October 2020. That sounds like something big. Full game, sequel-sized big. I really don't think they're messing with us. I think we have some exciting stuff coming. For me to sum up and to just get ahead of some of the questions that I know I'll be getting, one, I think is directly related to Jurassic World Evolution and not some other unrelated title, because they are saying this on their Jurassic World Evolution social media, not on the Frontier account. 2, I don't think it's a DLC because it has already been 14 months and change at this point since the last one, which is a very clear break from pattern. When the game was in active development, we had a new DLC every few months. And also it's going to be much, much longer than 14 months because they are only going to start sharing more later in the year. They didn't say it's coming out later in the year, which means, for me, logically, way too much time will have passed for a DLC to make sense. And pretty much any DLC is going to be underwhelming after what at that point might be a 2-year wait or close to it. Again, which is why I personally don't think it's a DLC, but a sequel. Even though they say this is not the end in reference to this specific version of the game, which might have you thinking they are going to continue this specific version of the game with a DLC, but I don't necessarily think that's what it means. I don't think it means that the version of Jurassic World Evolution that we have currently is going to be expanded upon. A sequel, by definition, would mean that it's not the end. The story is going to continue. It works the same way in movies, you know? like Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War didn't just end after Infinity War, the story continued with Endgame, a sequel. And that's exactly what I think they're hinting at over here. We have Jurassic World Evolution, which we have currently, and the story is not going to end. It's going to continue in Jurassic World Evolution 2. I also want to clarify, a sequel doesn't mean the exact same game, but newer. There's a lot of stuff they didn't do in the original game that they can do in a sequel. I know a lot of people seem to think that Jurassic World Evolution 2 is just going to be the same game essentially, but making you go through a new campaign with the same sort of repetitive missions and contracts. But I mean, come on, you've seen Planet Zoo, you've seen what Prehistoric Kingdom is bringing to the table, and Frontier has a lot of untapped potential in terms of tycoon games that might finally get tapped in a sequel. I really don't think they're going to be overhauling the existing game. I think they're going to come out with a new game and make a ton of money again. Alright, I've speculated about this long enough. Let me know down below what you think. And if you want to stay up to date on these developments, please consider subscribing also for just a lot more Jurassic World Evolution content. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, enjoy the wait. Wait, no, enjoy the game.